So I was married for 18 years, but before I got divorced, before I even filed for divorce, my wife's mask came off, and that's the only reason I would ever get divorced. I look forward to a lifelong marriage, to no infidelity, to just honesty, truth, and longevity in a marriage. I never thought it would end, and for 10 years I never suspected it would. But then, things happened where we had a disconnect, and we were not sexually or intimate in almost any way. We were so distant, even though we lived in the same house. And I worked at home, so I was always there. And so I turned to porn, and I told my wife that's what happened, that we became disconnected emotionally and intimately, and I've been turning to porn because we're not intimate enough. It would be 3-4 weeks where we would go without any intimacy at all. Whether that's just having a good heart-to-heart talk, or whether that's sex, or whether that's any of it. Like, we were disconnected. And I told her, if it doesn't change, we're going to have to get divorced, because I'm turning to porn and I don't like it. I didn't get married to have to turn to porn for, that release, that, and that's a good release for men. I'll show you, what it does for men. It prevents cancer, prostate cancer, to have that release at least once a week. And it's a physical need because, sperm build up at about 5,000 sperm a second. And whether men want it to be released or not, it gets released, So it's a physical need. And so I was turning to porn, and she took that so offensively that finally the mask came off, Like, she has a mother who, is the matriarch of the family. Her dad didn't work, her mother did. It was a shit job. Her mother worked at a gas station, for near minimum wage. It was like $10 an hour she was making, and supporting a family on that, while her father stayed home and played video games and smoked weed. And that was what she grew up in. She looked up to her mother for being the matriarch, for doing, the job that her father should have been doing. And when I met her, she was determined to be a successful person. She had an academic scholarship to Westminster College, the most prestigious business college in the Western Hemisphere of the United States. And, to be able to afford a house and, all of her school stuff, books and clothes and whatever. I quit my job at Microsoft, a cushy job. I had jumped 2 tiers from where I started. I started at tier 1. I was in tier 3 when I left. And I quit that to work construction with my friend, still building construction for gun ranges in Louisiana and other parts of the U.S. I took her brother with me, and he was a huge embarrassment because he refused to work. He was like, I'm allergic to the sun and blah, blah, blah. So he got all pissed off because he was fired, but he obviously couldn't do the job. He just couldn't. He hated the sun, and besides that, he's just not well known for working. He was a lot like his father. He likes to sit home and play video games. Kid has barely ever had a job in his life, and he's over 40 years old now. So anyway, while I'm out in Louisiana doing this job so she can go to school and we can have a nice life, she quit school while I'm out at this job after quitting my good job at Microsoft. It was MSN Quest. It was an ISP that supported MSN products. So it was basically Microsoft contract through a different company called ComCom. Commercial and Commerce is what their name was. But anyway, it was a good job. It was a comfy job. It paid my bills, and I was, gaining momentum. Within 6 months, I was already a tier 3. So it was a hard job to quit. Anyway, so fast forward, well, to give a little more context, when I met her, she had just given her life to Christ. She was a Christian. She believed in God, and at her brother's church, before I even met her, she gave her life to Jesus. And so this was the premise that we set our relationship up on. And we had a marriage. Instead of just shacking up and having babies, we got married first. We waited 2 years to have our first baby. We got married in 2002. Our baby wasn't born until June of 2004. And so we waited 2 years before our first was born. And, she worked with me. I had many businesses that I started. We always worked for ourselves for the first, 6 years, for the first 6 years of our marriage, we worked for ourselves. I had businesses that were successful, that paid the bills. I even had us set up, now she'll discredit this, say, oh, it wasn't all that great, but I had a $5 million house that I was trading for. My friend Locke Miller, we traded a house for in Bellevue, Washington, that was right on Lake Washington. It's a $5 million house. It was 11205 Southeast Lake Road, Bellevue, Washington. That was a house we had. Now, she said it wasn't great because he came over all the time to check his mail and didn't give us notice that he was coming, which isn't true. I mean, he came like 6 times in the 18 months we lived there, but it was like $8,000 worth of rent, plus he paid for utilities, the gardener, internet, TV, everything, and gave me, little bonuses here and there. And then I also, at the same time, worked at Talist Incorporated. So after getting that thing where I, was able to work for this guy in trade for rent of this mansion, I mean, literally a mansion, then I got a job as it was a tech support job, but it was basically robotics engineering because I had to maintain the servers for an automated pharmacy set up for 710 hospitals and facilities. So we had like Mayo Clinic and, all the big ones. And the VA I had, so this is another lie that I hear about me, is that I have this horrible criminal record, but I've had it erased, so you can't look it up anymore. It's not true. I mean, I had an FBI background check when I had to work for the VA to get government clearance because I was looking at patient records, and that requires secret clearance. So I got that clearance after the FBI did an exhaustive background check on me. They even interviewed my best friend from high school. They called her up and asked her a bunch of questions about me. I mean, they did a thorough investigation, and I was able to work for the VA for almost 6 years. So yeah, from 2008 to 2014, I worked for the VA as a contractor. And anyway, it was a great house. It was awesome. And we had new cars, and we had a good life. And not only was I getting free rent, but I was also making money for this robotics engineering company as a tier 2 tech support rep, doing robotics engineering. So, and then, we didn't like that it was like a free ride. We just kind of felt like, we were getting too much for free. And I don't like, a life of no resistance. I like to actually fight for what I get. And this guy just had oodles of money, and I just felt like we weren't earning it, like he wasn't giving me enough work to justify it. So we bought us a boat, and we lived on this awesome 50-foot cigar boat from the 1920s that had been redone and made into a yacht. Just a beautiful boat. And then we had lots of adventures. She always wanted to go on an adventure. She always loved the idea. She grew up in Idaho, never left Idaho while she was growing up. I think she went to Oregon once the whole time she was growing up, but never really went on any adventures. And me, I had been all over the world. I mean, I had been to 2 different countries besides the U.S. by the time I was 12, and almost 36 states, because I left home early and went traveling. I left home I left Utah at age 15 and started traveling the United States and went to Mexico and Canada, went to a lot of places, but she never did. So she wanted to go traveling. And then I got in a car accident. I got a big settlement after the porn thing, after the whole, porn thing. But before that, so we had this discussion about the intimacy and the porn. That was in March of 2013. And then in May, I got in this horrible accident of the same year, 2 months later, where the drunk driver, died in the car accident and almost killed me. I mean, I was really close. I had 42 fractures, I think 45 fractures. Anyway, a lot of fractures. I'm rebuilt with metal. My shoulder's all redone. They had to fix my teeth. They all broke out. And I was pinned to the floor with a rod while the car's on fire. I mean, it was bad. Anyway, so I survived. And 3 weeks later, while I'm recovering, she had to bring me to her mom's house, of all places. She doesn't even like her mom, she's always said, but she had to go to her mom's house, and I'm recovering in their living room in a wheelchair. Can't walk, can't move. I mean, I'm on all kinds of morphine. And then she pops out of the bedroom and attacks me. The first time she's ever done anything like this. This is not something we've ever dealt with. Attacks me for looking at porn in front of her stepdad, her mom, and my kids, emasculating me. First time this has ever happened. And the mask comes off. You know, she wasn't the respectful, humble wife anymore. She wasn't, you know, my best friend anymore. She decided that day to become my enemy. And then, you know, like 6 months later, I was like, God, I'll try to work on it, but that disrespect is too much. I don't think I can survive this, but I'll try. So for 6 months, I decided not to file for divorce, and waited and waited to see if it'd get any better, and it didn't get any better. She kept up with the porn. You better promise to never look at porn again, or I won't stop. I won't stop with this. You know, this fight will continue. Look, I'm not going to promise you something. If you're not going to give me the relief I'm looking for, if you're not going to give me the intimacy that I need from a marriage, then I'm going to have to turn to other, you know, options. And I'm not going to go cheat. I'm not going to go find another woman. I'd never do that, but sometimes I need to relieve, you know, my situation. I need relief. I need the oxytocin, the serotonin, the dopamine. I mean, that's the chemicals released when you have an orgasm. And besides that, there's a buildup, a physical buildup. So I need that relief. And so if you're going to let me go without, as you have done many times, then I'm going to have to find another alternative. And that's the safest and most respectful way to do it. And so I'm not going to make you that promise. I'm not going to, you know, say I'll never look at porn. Although at that point in life, I'd only looked at porn in our marriage about a dozen times. You know, I could count on all my fingers and toes in the 10 years we were married, the times that I had turned to porn. So it's not like it was a major, like, it wasn't an addiction, or it wasn't like a serious problem. It just was, you know, my alternative when my wife denied me intimacy. So anyway, fast forward, throughout the years as we're traveling, we had never had these issues in our life before, but all of a sudden we would make friends, and within a week or two, the friends would start like condemning me, you know, saying, oh, you're misogynistic, oh, you're this, oh, you're that, you know, and they having major issues with me. And then I called her out because I looked at her phone and found some of the information, some of the conversations she was having with our friends, telling them, oh yeah, he's just a porn addict, oh, he's this, or he's that, he doesn't treat me good, blah, blah, blah. Which is never the case, never, you know, and I can prove, I'll show you Father's Day's videos, and, you know, just like good times we've always had, and never before that did we have an issue. And I was always, you know, praised as being a good and attentive father, and a loving father, and a good husband. And, you know, this is, you know, all documented. She made these videos for me. She interviewed the kids. You know, she, you know, gave me the praises and all this. And then it was the porn thing. She felt like I was cheating on her. And so then she started turning our friends against me to make me feel kind of isolated, and to make me feel, you know, awkward about, you know, having autonomy with my own body or whatever. And so then I just, I filed for divorce in 2014. She told all my friends I was going to take my settlement that I was getting for the car accident. I was going to leave her broken, stranded. She told my friend Lynn, she told a couple other people this, our friend Stacy, you know, that I was going to leave her, you know, penniless, and just, you know, do all that. And I never was intending that, you know. I mean, I would have definitely paid child support and taken care of my kids. But, you know, I knew she wanted to go traveling, and I had enough money to take her. So when I got that settlement, we went all over. We went to the Virgin Islands, we went to the UK, we went to Ireland, we went to Netherlands, we went to Mexico, and we ended up in Hawaii. This really awesome situation, a 5-bedroom house on Big Island. It wasn't a bungalow, it was, you know, a permitted house, well built, and 5 bedrooms, 2 baths. It was nice for $1,200 a month. It was really nice. And, in October of 2020, well, rewind that a little bit, in November of 2019, she wanted to go to Ireland. She wants to be in Ireland. She has this friend there, Fiona, who called her wife, right? She had multiple women that called her wife. And anyway, Fiona called her wife. And this lesbian in Big Island that we met, Joey, called her wife. And she would always sneak off and spend time with this Joey girl. And I'll actually show you a video I recorded right before the divorce, right before, this whole crisis came. But she would tell people like, oh yeah, thanks for my husband for letting me go for 4 hours with this girl and blah, blah. It's like, I never even knew you were going with her. You told me you were going to our other property. We had bought another property on Big Island. And she had told me she was going over there. And lo and behold, she was just going to hang out with this lesbian that called her wife. Anyway, she wanted to go to Ireland. She has this woman who calls her wife. They're besties or whatever. And she's like, we need to marry one of her kids. Her kids don't look like they're interested in getting married. So let's, talk one of them into marrying us. And I said, well, go ahead and ask Eden, the woman's son, who's like 20-something, 25 or 27. I don't know what he is, but he's under 30. And she's always talking to him. And I found out, behind my back, she's always like, yeah, I'll come out and I'll leave my family for, a while. And I'll just stay there and cook for you. And you can take care of me in the cottage next to your mom's house. And all this is recorded. I got this all on screen recording where, she was having these private discussions unbeknownst to me. And then I found out, and then she kept talking about wanting to go to Ireland. So I'm like, ask him if he'll marry you. If he'll marry you, we can all move out to Ireland, And so she asked him, and then he says no, and he stops talking to her. And she's like, well, just ask his sister. Maybe his sister will go for it. I'm like, okay. So I asked his sister, and she's like, yeah, I'll do it, but on one condition, that you give me a child. So I said, well, let me talk to Kim about it. We talked that night. She agreed. She's like, sure, if we can move to Ireland, give her a child. And that night I laid next to her and I cried. I cried for 2 hours. Cried myself to sleep, knowing that our relationship was definitely over. If she's okay with me having children with another woman, that's it. Like, Ireland was more important to her than saving our marriage. And, whatever. So, okay. I was like, well then, let's do it. So we got divorced. Shortly after, February of 2020, we filed for divorce. And then in October of 2020, she starts threatening me again. If you leave me, I'll turn the kids against you. If you leave me, I'll commit suicide. This was the threats that I'd gotten for 7 years before this, on a monthly basis. Some of it recorded on my dash cam. I always have a dash cam in my car. Sometimes when she'd have these big blowouts with me, it was recorded. She would usually have them in front of the kids. I would insist we talk about it on Facebook. I would insist we go on a ride and talk about it privately without the kids being witnesses. She always wanted an audience. Most of the time, it was in front of the kids. And one of the times it was recorded on my Ring, and I have those Ring videos as well, of her threatening me, to turn the kids against me or to kill herself. So anyway, that October, that threat of I'm going to turn the kids against you if you leave me or whatever, then I lost it and I was about suicidal. And I took like 12 Tylenol and I was like, I'm just done. And then I spit them out, it was no big deal, but I was like really close. I was like, on the edge. I don't know how else to explain it. But then the next month I was like, okay, fine, I'll just go to Ireland. So I went to Ireland, hooked up with this girl, tried to get her to take birth control until we got married. She wouldn't do it. So I scheduled a vasectomy because she wasn't going to be on birth control, and she kept pushing back the marriage. And so I scheduled a vasectomy in February. And then and it was supposed to happen in March. And then a week later, she's like, no, I still want to get married. I still want to have a baby. Don't get a vasectomy because it's not reversible. That's what the doctor told me, Dr. John McCormick in Dublin. I've still got that email. I'll post it here to him. But anyway, so I wrote him. I'm like, no, my partner here says she will marry me. She's accepted my marriage proposal and she wants to have a baby still. So I'm going to push this back. I'll let you know if anything changes. And anyway, my ex was, really fighting me, and I'll put the video of her alienating me against my kids, or my kids against me, on Christmas of 2020, where, I had told her, hey, I'm with this new girl now, the girl that we had agreed that I would be with, and we were sexually intimate, and we're going to do this. And then a week later was Christmas. I told her on December 16th, so like 9 days later it was Christmas, and I tried to call my kids. She wouldn't let me talk to them. They're all crying and screaming in the background and so sad. And I tried to send them Christmas gifts. I tried to send her money to buy them Christmas gifts. She returned the PayPal money that I sent her. She returned the money that I put in our joint account. She wouldn't take the money. And so then I had my friend Ralph come over and bring him presents. And boy, she really let him have it. She said so much horrible things to him. And it was all just me just trying to give my kids a little boost for Christmas, because it was a really sad time. Mommy and Daddy had finally decided to get divorced. Anyway, I just wanted to let them know I'm still loving them. I'm still there for them. I'm still, worried about their Christmas and their happiness. And I was just trying to send them a gift, but she wanted them to be miserable. And I recorded it. So that's this. I'll put right here. And anyway, it's continued ever since then, since December of 2020. She's done everything she can to tell the kids I don't love them, that, she was telling them I lied to them about buying tickets home, that I was just, always lying to them. It was true. I just couldn't fly because I wouldn't get the COVID shot, and it was required for some of these airlines, and I just wouldn't do it. And so I had to cancel my flights multiple times and then wait for the refund. But eventually I got home in March of 2021. When I got home, it was like March 30th. As soon as I got in the car, the kids all told me, and this is it, this is this video I'll post next. They all told me that Mommy seems like she wants us to choose sides. Mommy's saying all these horrible things about you to us. What is going on here? And that's exactly what they said verbatim. The moment I got in the car, I put my phone up. My phone has a dash cam on it. And it, starts recording as soon as the car starts going, as soon as the gyroscope or whatever, the G-forces start, and it's in motion, the camera starts. And so that's recorded them telling me that Mom was trying to make them choose sides. And then they said the same thing in a therapy session about 2 months later. They said to their therapist, Yvette Skokes, I believe her name was, in Hawaii, said the same thing to her. All three of them did. That Mom was trying to make them pick sides, that it was, breaking their hearts. And then ever since, for the entire time since then, that's what has been happening, is, oh, your dad doesn't really love you, oh, your dad's selfish, oh, your dad blah, blah, blah. I mean, I took him to Universal Studios last year in April, and or at the end of March, and then brought them home. And then in April, I was talking to my daughter, who is now trying to be my son, I guess. She's changing her gender. And I went to their house to see my other daughter because she was going to go out of state with a new parent we'd never met, was going to go out of state and camp with this new parent and his daughter. And I just wanted to meet him before they went. So 10 minutes before he was supposed to arrive, I texted my ex-wife and I said, hey, I'm coming over. I just want to meet this guy. I'm coming over. And anyway, so I came over. And I'm talking to my daughter that's older, that's trying to transition into a boy, and I won't use her pronouns. She's asking me to call her he, him, or they, them, or whatever. And no, I don't believe in that. That's not what I've been taught biologically. That's not what I believe, philosophically. I just don't believe it. I'm not going to do it. But I love you. This is only, and I said, and this is recorded because I always record when I'm around my ex-wife. And it's all, I'm not going to post it here, but it's in this case number. I'll show you the case number. And, it's publicly available because it's a police case, it's documented and it's a public record. So anybody can get this as discovery evidence. But anyway, and I'm just like, this has only been around for about 5 years. This is just kind of a new thing and I don't believe in it. I'm looking into it. I'm researching. I'm trying to find something that makes sense about it, but it doesn't make sense to me, so I'm not going to use it. And then her stepfather, who's never wanted to talk to me, who dresses like a woman, he's a transvestite, transgender, transsexual, I don't know, trans something, tranny, Anyway, he's a tranny. And he starts, get the fuck out of my house. Get the fuck you. And he starts screaming at me. I'm like, all right, well, fuck off. I'm out of here. And not even getting to meet this parent that's going to take my 9-year-old daughter out of state to to a camp, a camping adventure. My ex-wife had never met him. I had never met him. And yet he's going to take my daughter from Oregon to Washington, about a 3-hour drive, to Great Wolf Lodge with his daughter. And so anyway, I didn't even get to meet him. Here I am leaving, and then the stepfather, leaves his chair where he's always sitting and playing video games, just like her father. Same situation. He stays home. He doesn't work. She goes to work, brings home the bacon, just like her mother. Anyway, he's in his favorite spot, sitting in front of the computer in the living room. He leaves that spot, comes all the way out of the house, which isn't a short trip, and he goes around all the furniture and pops out the door, screaming at me, and then pops up behind me and hits me in the face. And I'm bleeding down my face. So I grab him by the head, I grab him by the neck, and pull him to the ground. I didn't hit him, I didn't punch him, not once, but I pull him to the ground and I hold him there. And he's grabbing my dick, and I yell in the video, you'll hear, well, if you ever get the police discovery evidence, but like, why are you grabbing my dick? And anyway, when I showed the police this, when they came, they laughed about that part. But, he's screaming because I'm pulling his hair out, he says, and all this. So it was hilarious, but I'd never hit him once. He threw the only punch in the entire altercation, and all I did was hold him down so that he wasn't punching me anymore. Anyway, they have the police come. They say I assaulted him, that I attacked him. I didn't step foot into their house. He came out of his house. I was outside the whole time. He stepped out of the house and confronted me and hit me from behind. He sucker punched me. And then they have the police come, and I let the police listen to the whole audio recording, and they're like, okay, well, this is a civil matter. Do you want to press charges? I said, no, I'm good. This is my kid's stepfather. We don't need any more drama. It's all good. I'm not a pussy. And they laughed about that too. Anyway, and that's recorded. I recorded that. And I'm sure their police cams, their little cameras or whatever that they wear, their body cams recorded that too. I'm sure that's part of the discovery that can be gotten from this case. But no, I wasn't trying to cause drama. I wasn't trying to hurt him. I never hit him one time. I just held him in place. And my wife was kicking me to get off of him, so I had to grab him by the scruff of his neck with my teeth and hold him there while I'm holding her feet while she's kicking me. And anyway, I just got up and left. When I saw my kids pour out of the house, and they had the look of horror on their face, I was just like, okay, I'm out of here. I could have continued. I could have hurt him. There's a lot of stuff I could have done, but I decided not to, and I left. And my dog jumped in my car. He was supposed to come with me. It was agreed upon. And then after that, she's telling the kids, oh, he stole your dog. No, a week before that, we had agreed that I would be taking the kids that summer, and that I'd be taking the dog, and that I had a little rental there in Eugene that I already gotten on Airbnb for us all, and that we were going to spend the summer together. That was the plan. And anyway, so she's telling the kids I stole the dog, I beat up their stepdad, and I'm horrible. And then the kids hated me after that because they believed her. They say they saw it. They didn't see it. They missed 90% of it. At the end, 2 of them popped out the door and saw what was the end of the fight, but they didn't see the whole confrontation. They didn't see him pop out of the house and attack me. They didn't see that he's the only one that threw a punch. And anyway, so I was working a week after that. I got my finger cut off because I was trying to make extra money because she was threatening to go to court and take the kids away. So I'm trying to make extra money for a lawyer. So I go back to work. I'm on a ladder installing surveillance for Dollar Tree. And because I'm weak from my car accident, my legs don't work very well. I'm unstable. I fall off the ladder and I cut my finger off. So here's my finger, what's left of it. That happened last April as a result of this threat for me to have to defend myself in court to keep my parental rights. And so then I just ended up coming here to Philippines to recover, to get stronger, to get better, and to start my business again. So I have extra money in case we have to go to court, which I'm prepared to do. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'll win. Over 70% of court cases are decided in the mother's favor for sole custody, regardless of the father situation. It's just the default court system. The mother could literally be a crack addict. I've seen this. Mother could be a serial drug convict, convicted over drugs multiple times and have a real unstable life, and the courts will still grant her custody over the very stable father just because that's the default in the court system. So anyway, I would expect to lose, but I would still fight for my children. And so I am going to go back, hopefully bring my family from here. I've got a family here, bring them over from the Philippines to the U.S. for, a duration of time, maybe forever. And now that my business has started and doing well again, I'm doing development, software development and websites and AI automation like I've always done. And I'm getting that. I've got many new customers just in the last month. I had this little holiday special and I got a bunch of people signed up. So I'm getting that started again. And I'll be back in the U.S. to try to fight for my kids. God, it's been a rough last 8 years. Unbelievable. I guess it's been even more because this all started in 2013, so it's been 12 years of absolute misery. So be careful of who you marry. Sometimes they wear a mask. As soon as that mask comes off, you might deal with what I've had to deal with.
In a quiet room where shadows fall, a father's heart begins to call for the child he's barred from seeing by a love turned cold and fleeing. She holds the power, wields the pen, keeps his child away again with lies as sharp as a winter's frost. A father's love is cruelly lost. Oh, the tears of broken fathers falling silent in the night, for the children they remember who've been taken from their side. Vengeful hearts and bitter lies stole the laughter from their lives. Now they wander lost and hollow, chasing dreams they cannot follow. Once he rocked her fast asleep, told her stories soft and sweet. Now his voice is but a ghost. In the halls he haunts the most. She tells the child to hate his name, turns love into bitter blame, a poison whispered in the ear, until his face fades into fear. Oh, the tears of broken fathers falling silent in the night, for the children they remember who've been taken from their sight. Vengeful hearts and bitter lies stole the laughter from their lives. Now they wander lost and hollow, chasing dreams they cannot follow. In the courtrooms, cold and stark, his words fall flat, his hope grows dark. Justice blind, but never kind, leaves him aching, left behind. With every day, the distance grows, another piece of him erodes. Some cannot bear the weight they hold, choose the night forever cold. No letters come, no calls are made. A father's love is cruelly stayed by hands to twist, the heart to break, by memories they cannot take. from their sight. Vengeful hearts and bitter lies stole the laughter from their lives. Now they wander lost and hollow, chasing dreams they cannot follow. So raise a glass to those who fight for children kept beyond their sight, and whisper prayers for those who fall in silent rooms where shadows call.
This is a call out to those with influence, those with a vote. Those with a vote and those lawmakers with a heart, please see fit that both parents get to be a part of a child's life.
In a quiet room where shadows fall, a father's heart begins to call for the child he's barred from seeing by a love turned cold and fleeing. She holds the power, wields the pen, keeps his child away again with lies as sharp as a winter's frost. A father's love is cruelly lost. Oh, the tears of broken fathers falling silent in the night. For the children they remember who've been taken from their side. Vengeful hearts and bitter lies stole the laughter from their lives. Now they wander lost and hollow, chasing dreams they cannot follow. Once he rocked her fast asleep, told her stories soft and sweet. Now his voice is but a ghost. In the halls he haunts the most. She tells the child to hate his name, turns love into bitter blame, a poison whispered in the ear, until his face fades into fear. Oh, the tears of broken fathers falling silent in the night. For the children they remember who've been taken from their sight. Vengeful hearts and bitter lies stole the laughter from their lives. Now they wander lost and hollow, chasing dreams they cannot follow. In the courtrooms, cold and stark, his words fall flat, his hope grows dark. Justice blind, but never kind, leaves him aching, left behind. With every day, the distance grows, another piece of him erodes. Some cannot bear the weight they hold, choose the night forever cold. No letters come, no calls are made. A father's love is cruelly stayed by hands that twist, the heart to break, by memories they cannot take. Oh, the tears of broken fathers falling silent in the night. For the children they remember who've been taken from their sight. Vengeful hearts and bitter lies stole the laughter from their lives. Now they wander lost and hollow, chasing dreams they cannot follow. So raise a glass to those who fight for children kept beyond their sight, and whisper prayers for those who fall in silent rooms where shadows call.
This is a call out to those with influence, those with a vote. Those with a vote and those lawmakers with a heart, please see fit that both parents get to be a part of a child's life.
In a quiet room where shadows fall, a father's heart begins to call for the child he's barred from seeing by a love turned cold and fleeing. She holds the power, wields the pen, keeps his child away again, with lies as sharp as winter's frost. A father's love is cruelly lost. Oh, the tears of broken fathers falling silent in the night. For the children they remember, who've been taken from their side. Vengeful hearts and bitter lies stole the laughter from their lives. Now they wander lost and hollow, chasing dreams they cannot follow. Once he rocked her fast asleep, told her stories soft and sweet. Now his voice is but a ghost. In the halls he haunts the most. She tells the child to hate his name, turns love into bitter blame, a poison whispered in the ear, until his face fades into fear. Oh, the tears of broken fathers falling silent in the night. For the children they remember, who've been taken from their sight. Vengeful hearts and bitter lies stole the laughter from their lives. Now they wander lost and hollow, chasing dreams they cannot follow. In the courtrooms, cold and stark, his words fall flat, his hope grows dark. Justice blind, but never kind, leaves him aching, left behind. With every day, the distance grows, another piece of him erodes. Some cannot bear the weight they hold, and choose the night forever cold. No letters come, no calls are made. A father's love is cruelly stayed by hands that twist the heart to break, by memories they cannot take. Oh, the tears of broken fathers falling silent in the night. For the children they remember, who've been taken from their sight. Vengeful hearts and bitter lies stole the laughter from their lives. Now they wander lost and hollow, chasing dreams they cannot follow. So raise a glass to those who fight for children kept beyond their sight, and whisper prayers for those who fall in silent rooms where shadows call.
This is a call out to those with influence, those with a vote. Those with a vote, and those lawmakers with a heart, please see fit that both parents get to be a part of a child's life.